In part 2, we'll talk about your TV choices and what's available. CRTVs, the big tube TVs, we're not even going to talk about because they don't exist anymore. I thought I'd talk about plasma TVs, but they don't exist anymore. TVs that are out there today are LCD TVs, and that stands for liquid crystal display. LCD TVs are thin displays normally used for laptop computers and TV screens. LCD crystals do not produce their own light, so an external light source is needed, like a fluorescent bulb, built in the TV to help project that image on the screen. LCD televisions are thinner and lighter and come in a variety of sizes. LED TVs, light-emitting diodes, is a type of LCD TV. Light-emitting diodes use the same technology as LCD TVs, but instead of being illuminated by a fluorescent bulb from behind, they are lit by an array of LEDs. These are far more efficient and smaller in size, meaning the TV can be narrower. So, an LED is a type of LCD. I know that's confusing. So let's confuse things a little bit more. OLED TVs, organic light emitting diodes. These are super thin TVs. And some of these OLED TVs come in curved shapes. OLED, organic light emitting diode display technology, is fundamentally different. The difference is, instead of having a single light source, you have each pixel is illuminated by its own individual LED backlight. Each individual pixel is illuminated, but they're expensive. They start from about $1,000 and go up to $5,000 plus. Here is an excellent video from CNET that explains OLED technology and how that differs from LCD technology.
OLED, or OLED, is a television technology that's been used in the best-looking TVs we've seen to date. But how does the tech differ from regular TVs, and what do you need to know? OLED televisions produce their images via a different technological process to other kinds of TVs, and we at CNET have been very fond of the result, with the first OLED TV we reviewed producing the best picture quality we've ever seen. But to understand what makes OLED different, you first need to know how pictures are created in an LCD TV, which is the technology in common use today. At the back of LCD TVs there's a backlight, which shines light through liquid crystals, which act a bit like shutters, either allowing light through or not, depending on the current that's run through them. Red, green and blue colour filters put over the top make up an individual tiny on-screen pixel, capable of producing any colour, contributing to an overall visible picture on the screen. OLED uses that same colour combining principle, but the big difference is that there's no backlight. Instead, light is generated by organic compounds that glow when a current is applied. Some OLED designs, including one favoured by LG, use white OLEDs overlaid with red, green and blue filters, but the common trait is that OLED displays don't need a backlight. So why the better picture? Well, it's because each pixel can be shut off. When there's no current flowing, the pixel appears completely black. This extremely high contrast between light and dark makes for a lovely image, and we found beats the picture quality on sets that use backlights, even though TV makers have found clever ways to dim backlights in LCD TVs to make darker parts of the screen as black as possible. OLED screens can also be made very thin and have wide viewing angles, and the tech can also be put to use in bending or transparent displays. OLED is yet to go mainstream, however, and there aren't many TV makers using this technology, plus it remains very expensive. So OLED's commercial future is uncertain, but having been deeply impressed with TVs that use it, we certainly hope we see cheaper sets at a range of prices in years to come. That should be all you need to know for an introduction to OLED, but for much more on TVs and all things tech, stay tuned to CNET.
Now, to confuse things a little bit more, there's QLED, quantum dot LED TVs. QLED comes out on top on paper because it delivers a higher brightness, longer lifespan, larger screen sizes at a somewhat lower price tag. OLED, on the other hand, has a better viewing angle, deeper black levels, uses less power, and might even be better for your health. So, to kind of sum things up here when it comes to your TV choices, in the end, your choices boil down to OLED and LED LCD TVs. If you can afford a high-end TV, then I recommend going with an OLED. As far as monitors are concerned, almost every monitor on the market is LED backlit. So you should look out for other specs such as refresh rate, panel type, response time, and so on, but I'm not going to cover that in this seminar.